Hey everyone, it's Deurklink here. In this video I'll be showing you the second round we did on my multiplayer server. This was a bit of a special round because we did 25 plots instead of 16. We had to end this round a bit early because we had several problems with this map, which I will explain now. So the first problem we had was that this map kept freezing from time to time. And we learned later that this was actually caused by a bug in the OpenRCT2 code, which caused the game to freeze when the exploding guest cheat was used. We sometimes use this cheat to keep the number of guests in the park under control. The code has been fixed recently, so right now it's completely safe to use that cheat. But yeah, back then it could break some logic of guests queuing, and then the game would just get confused and freeze. Another problem we had was that this map has a lot of tree-wide paths, 1, 2, 3, and these can actually make it very difficult for peeps to find their way in some situations. For example, you can find some peeps here leaving the park, but they're unable to find the park exit. When you have 3 white paths, here you can see what the game does with them. So the paths colored white are actually ignored by the peeps for pathfinding. This is what OpenRCT2 does to the paths to make the pathfinding easier, and to reduce the amount of junctions. So actually many path tiles are ignored for pathfinding, but in OpenRCT2 there's really too many path tiles that get ignored. In normal OpenRCT2, it's actually turned into a grid, so there peeps would be able to find their way. But yeah, this is something that still needs to be addressed in OpenRCT2. Anyway, those were the problems of this map, and those led us to stop it early. Anyway, let's go over the creations that people made. This plot was made by Comrade Railroad. I think it's the only round in which he joined. I think it's pretty impressive how he managed to fit 3 roller coasters into this small plot. So here we have sort of a boomerang coaster with a bit more fancy layout. Here we have a standard corkscrew coaster, also was really crammed into this area. 2 inversions, I think, yeah. And here's a small mini roller coaster. It's quite impressive how he fit all these coasters into this small area. What I don't like is these water spout items. Seriously, people, don't use these above the ground. They look kind of silly, in my opinion. Anyway, let's continue to the next. This one was made by Burp. Also a corkscrew roller coaster, several inversions. Burp really likes to make his coasters tunnel with the inversions right above ground. So, wait a minute. It's actually not a corkscrew coaster, it's a laydown coaster, because part of it is inverted. Yeah, there you have it. Alright, pretty cool stuff. Well, it hasn't been tested yet, so the station isn't finished. Probably because the round was ended early. Anyway, let's continue to the next plot. This one was made by Plasma Wolf, a vertical coaster. Quite interesting layout, sadly wasn't finished. But yeah, looks really cool. It looks like there's actually 2 coasters. Yeah, it was just caused by the angle that I didn't see it. Alright, quite interesting. Not sure if there's actually supposed to be pizzas here, but we'll never know since this round wasn't finished. Right, then we go to the next plot. The one was made by Mondanzo. Mondanzo was not allowed to place any tornadoes on this plot, so he actually made a tornado out of ice blocks. Other than that, there's 2 small roller coasters here. There's a mini roller coaster, and here's an inverted, small inverted roller coaster with some of the track pieces made invisible, so it looks like it's flying above the ground. By the way, guys, if you want to see how to make stuff invisible, I made a guide on that. So if you browse through my videos, you will find it. Alright, here's the SDM plot with Woody. I think it goes quite high for the small space that it occupies. But yeah, quite interesting layout. It's a twisty, sort of spaghetti. Right, and here's a small river rapids ride. Well, of course, it's not really finished. Alright, then we go to the next one. This one was made by Naked Julia. Some really cool coasters here. They sort of look like festive decorations, like you would expect at Christmas or so. For towers with coasters going through them. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, this plot had some problems, because first there was a maze here. And lots of peeps kept getting trapped on this plot. So yeah, that were the issues with this plot. But yeah, aesthetically this is one of my favorites on this map. Now the next plot was made by Ladimin. Yes, B&M inverted boomerang. Quite interesting track choice, I think, but yeah, it sort of works. And some flat rides. The trees all really look a bit the same. It looks really square and irregular. You know what I do when I make trees is, let's delete a few. I like disable clearance checks, disable support limits. What I like to do is vary them a bit with different trees. If you bury your trees a bit, you can put them all at different heights. And when that's done, you can place some square tile, quarter tile trees in between. And then it looks a whole lot less like you place your trees in a grid pattern. In my opinion, this will make your trees look a lot better. So if you want to fill an area with trees, I think these tips will really help you make your stuff better. Alright, then the next plot is made by me. Not much to say on this plot except this coaster that I made. It's actually dueling hardline twister / bobsleigh coaster. I merged these two tracks. I think the hardline twister and bobsleigh track merge really well together. Actually used hardline twister cars on this coaster, and those will never slide off a bobsleigh track, no matter how fast they're going. Here's a little hardline roll in the middle. I think this plot would have worked out quite well if I would have been able to finish it. Alright, then we go to the next plot. This one was made by Howler. He managed to cram 2 coasters into his area, which is quite nice. Some flat rides. Initially, this plot was only reachable using this elevator ride. I made this path here because peeps kept getting lost here on top. So in the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 you should never really make an area that's only accessible by a transport ride, because peeps will end up getting lost. They will not be able to find their way back. This is something that's also an issue in some of the original Six Flags parks in this game. You have these big elevator rides on the tower and peeps will end up getting lost on the top. So yeah, you should try to avoid that when possible. Right, the next plot is made by Girati. Quite a cool, colorful plot. Boat ride, lots of different rides here and a small coaster. Again, this tornado, really stop using these items, people. Alright, then we go to the next one. This one was made by Tom. Tom made the gold mine ride in the previous map. This is also a really cool ride, Glacier Express. quickly give it a test ride. It's the typical launched coaster that Tom likes to make. Some stalls here in the building. Lots of inversions on the ride. Really cool stuff. Alright, this plot was made by Stu. I really like how he put his name here on his plot using these paths. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Alright, then this next ride was made by Charles. He doesn't often play in multiplayer, but when he does, he often makes cool stuff. So he called this the 8-bit coaster. Basically what he did here was he merged a track onto his coaster, which was actually rotated clockwise 90 degrees. And what happens then is that the coaster will actually just make a sharp 90-degree turn. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. It gives a hilarious effect. So yeah, cool stuff. So like how he used many different kinds of trees to yeah, make it look really nice. Good stuff. Alright, here's a plot from YOLO Swag Lord. He made a really cool twister coaster, spiraling lift hill and many inversions. Yeah, the area itself looks pretty unfinished sadly, but the coaster is pretty cool. Also really like how he did support here. Good stuff. Too bad I didn't see this getting finished. Alright, and here we have the final plot from Logan. It's pretty cool. It's a river rapids ride with mostly invisible track. Too bad we can't see this finished, because I think this would have looked really cool. Yeah, and the cars are doing a little weird dance here. Probably because something went wrong in the track merging. Alright, that was it for this round. I hope to see you all again in the video about the next round.